Hi guys, and welcome back. It's autumn. And we've got a very autumnal feel in Chips Green World this week. In this week's vlog, I'm going to be tackling the flowering quince. I'm also going to be repurposing the slate that we took up from the townhouse garden project. And we'll also be gathering a bit of moss to top off and dress the Pieris Japonica we repotted a couple of episodes ago. But first, let's go back to the beginning of the week when I tackled the path to the potting shed. I de-weeded it and then I repurposed the bags of slate that we gathered from the townhouse garden, laying it a good inch thick. And there we go, all done. One job down, and a good use of repurposing the slate. And now I've got a lovely comfy path all the way to the potting shed, and this should stop the weeds coming through. So, back to the flowering quince, the last shrub in the garden to get ready for the house move. And this is the one I've been putting off, as I've been undecided which way to go with it. But I finally decided, and it's going to be a bonsai. And it'll be sat on the courtyard table. And I've also realised I forgot my gloves. So while I pop to the potting shed, have a look at the flowers blooming around the pond. Right, got my gloves. Time to tackle the flowering quince. And this quince was inherited. I found this under a load of brambles in the garden when I first moved into the house. It had been potted up into an old paint pot. It looked dead, but I kept watering it and giving it a bit of feed, and it came back, so I repotted it. And it's done ever so well since. As far as I'm aware, it's a flowering quince Scarlet Storm double take. It's been in this pot now for the last 7 years, and I'm not really happy with how it's grown. It's a bit Raggedy Ann, and it's known for that. So I've decided to turn it into a bonsai, and that way I can take it with me and it can sit on the courtyard table, and hopefully it would look something like this come next spring. And in 5 years' time, who knows? It could look like this. Fingers crossed. So as this is now getting turned into a bonsai, I can just dig this straight out of the pot and cut off half of the root ball at the same time. So I'll just continue doing this all the way around till I can ease it out. Here's a little video I shot of it in bloom in spring. And this is one of the reasons I think it'll make a beautiful bonsai. And that way I can train it into a more structural tree rather than a scraggy old shrub. Let's see if that's loosened her up a bit. I think a bit more work with a spade. And there we go, I think we got it. So I'll just ease this out, put it into a bin, and then we'll move on to another job I did earlier in the week, which was collecting moss to dress and top off my bonsai in the making, Pieris Japonica. So let's move on to that now. So all I'm doing here is using an old scraper to scrape up the moss off the pathways around the garden, then transplanting it on top of the pot to finish the whole look off. And my only advice would be to take the moss from the same kind of conditions as where your pot will be. If your pot's going to be in shade, make sure you're getting your moss from a shady area. If your pot's going to be in full sun, gather the moss from a sunny position. Some will take, some may not take, but doing this will give you a better success rate. And there we go, all done. Looking absolutely beautiful. Now let's get back to today and the flowering quince. So we've dug it out, we've got it into a bucket, we're going to take it into the potting shed, give it a bit of water, and it'll probably be a couple of days before we start work on this, so you might not see it till spring. So this wraps things up really for Chip's Green World this year, folks. As autumn's here, winter's on its way. There's a lot less for us to do in the garden, so the channel will start closing down over the winter period, but we'll be back in spring. And there may be a couple of vlogs over the winter period. Keep your fingers crossed. The townhouse garden project will also be coming to an end until spring, when we'll be starting the pond project, which is very exciting indeed. But for now, I hope you've enjoyed. It's been a great year. I've loved having you along for the ride. We'll have one last look at Spud before we go, and I wish you all a glorious winter and a happy festive season. But for now, that's it. Hope you've enjoyed. Like and subscribe. I'll see you all very soon. Okay guys, bye now.